So I want to talk about something that is really important. You started strength training, you know how important it is, but you actually know really, really little about what actually is required. So today we will be talking about building muscles and progressive overload. So just because you are using dumbbells doesn't mean you're building muscles, okay? So I am saying this with love, okay, and with honesty, because most women, especially in midlife, have no idea they are basically doing maintenance workouts, and then they're wondering why nothing is actually changing. So let's get real and let's go into the more details. So basically, our body is designed to adapt. It's really, really smart. If you keep lifting the same weights for the same repetitions in the same way week after week, your muscles simply stop seeing it as a challenge. At that point, you're not building the muscles. You're just repeating a workout routine you are basically maintaining. So no challenge means no growth. But here's what a lot of people get confused. The answer isn't doing more random workouts, right? So trying something new every single week, jumping from one fashionable routine to another. In fact, random workouts are one of the biggest reasons women stay stuck, because there's no proper meal plan, means no progression. And secondly, if you're not tracking what you're doing, you cannot just measure that improvement. That's why with me, we need to track everything. Every increased kilogram, every single rep, you need to be logging into our app. So the other thing to keep in mind, that's something that you sometimes might feel like, ooh, I worked out hard, I feel tired, or I was so sweaty, or oh my goodness, that was so hard. But that hard doesn't equal progress. You cannot have progressive overload if every single week it is a guessing game, okay? So now let's talk about goals, because not all weight training is the same, okay? For example, endurance training. It uses the weights, but it's much lighter weights, it's higher repetitions and more stamina, just something like a body pump type of training, right? So look, that's great for fitness, but it doesn't build shape. It doesn't build lean muscles. Second one is what we're doing. It's hypertrophy training. What most women think they actually have been doing usually, but they're nowhere near it. And that's what me and you are doing. And we're going to be focusing on it. It requires moderate to heavy loads, heavy for your current fitness level. It requires structured reps and sets. It requires progression, repeating movements, and actually tracking your lifts. So that is how you build muscles, which is what creates definition, shape, tone. That's what most important is, increasing our metabolic rate, which allows us eventually eat more without gaining body fat. And no, I want it right away destroy the doubt. Muscles doesn't make you feel bulky. Believe me, muscles is what makes you look toned. It's so hard to build muscles for women, especially of middle age. We are actually losing them yearly without doing any strength training and enough protein. So you cannot turn basically a muscle that doesn't exist. That's what we're working on with you. And muscles for when they're just they're not just about the aesthetics, right? It's your health insurance for the rest of your life, basically. In a separate video, I'm going to cover all of the benefits of strength training for women 40 plus and beyond. But let me tell you this. Stress training is non-negotiable as we get older, and this is why progressive overload is so important for us. So what it is actually, that progressive overload? So here's a simple and the most probably easier definition. So doing a little bit more than last time without changing the form. It's really, really important. But here's the mistake almost women make, and everybody basically makes. So they're trying to force overload. They're trying to grab heavier weights before they are ready to them. And the technique falls apart. And then what happens? So without realizing it, they end up doing even less work, not more. So let me show you. So for example, shoulder press. So last week you were doing 20 with those dumbbells, and this week you think I must progress, and you're grabbing heavier dumbbells, and then what happens? Your elbows are dropping, your range gets smaller, and you start pushing it, using lots of momentum, and momentum takes over. So you are thinking you're lifting heavier, right? You're lifting heavier weights, but the tension on your shoulders has actually decreased. So you haven't progressed at all indeed. You just changed the movement. Another example could be with the lateral raises, right? So going from really light to doubling, for example, the weight when you're not ready, can have a massive effect on that muscle group. So what actually happens when you're picking up the weight before you're ready to them? You start swinging them, you start using momentum, you start using your neck, you start leaning forward, you're throwing the whole body to get that weight up. And again, it looks like progression for you because you picked up heavier weights, but indeed it's not. It's just cheating the movement. So what's real progression looks like? So first of all, I want you to know all of the little things. So real progressions not always means only lifting heavy weights. You need to make sure that the technique stays the same. You've got the same tempo, you've got the same range of motions, same control, and slight increase in challenge, okay? So that might look to you like 1 repetition extra each week, each next workout, or 1 extra kilogram. It can be slower tempo, can be deeper range of motions, can be better stability, more control, cleaner reps. That's all is progression, okay? And look, those heavy weights are all relative to us. What's heavy to me might be easy for you. What's heavy to you might be impossible for somebody else. So we need to stop comparing ourselves to anyone else in the gym or online, all right? And if you don't have heavy weights, or your body isn't ready for a jump in load, you can still overload in lots of the other ways. You can slow down the tempo, which means you are doing it with the more tension, right? So your time under the tension is you're doing lateral raises and you're slowing down on the way down. You can add pause on holds. You can shorten the rest times. Train one side at a time. For example, you can add rounds, you can add drop sets, increase the reps, improve your forms and range of motion. There's so many things that you can do, but you need to be showing this, right? And trust me, the same weight can feel like absolutely fire if you're doing it absolutely properly. So now a very important note, in case you are wondering why I ask for training videos, okay? I need to see your form. So you don't get injured, first of all, okay? I need to see your tempo. In case you are swinging the weights, I need to see how the weights moves for you, because progressive overload isn't just lifting heavier, okay? So it's not what I see on the app. Maybe a little lifting maybe too fast, or maybe you're not controlling the negative motions. Maybe your form is taking over and you potentially can injure yourself. So your videos will help me coach you properly, so you actually get the results you're working for without having any setbacks with injuries, without wasting your time. But let me also explain another very important thing, because you also need to hear the other side, right? Overload should be gradual, right? It should be smart and sustainable. If you try to force too much too soon, especially with midlife hormones, stress, sleep, all the other issues, low calories, your body will fight it back. And if you want to progress and not to punish your body, you've got to make it all smart. So progressive overload isn't about that ego to lift as heavy as possible. It's about consistency. It's about small steps every single day. It's repeated over time. It's where the real transformation actually happens. So here are the takeaways for you from this long speech today. So random workouts equal your stacking, but structures, exercises, structured workouts, progressive overload gives you the results. And if you're serious about building the muscles, shaping your body, improving your metabolism, and feeling stronger than you've ever been in years, follow that program that actually progresses, and make sure you check in with me correctly and consistently. So stay consistent, challenge yourself, and your body will transform.